So I'm interrupting this podcast and this broadcast to let you know that Club She is the community where you need to be. You're probably asking yourself, what is Club She is and why do I need to be there? Well, Club She is the best community in the world. I mean it. It's a place where we get practical. It's a place where we get real, and it's a place where we truly understand you as a woman. It's a community that you join if every single week you want to take a step forward to bringing your dream to life. The dream of building your business, the dream of turning yourself into a strong personal brand that makes profit. We get practical about how to build your website, how to build your funnel, how to build out your products and your services, how to get an offer that people actually want, how to run Facebook ads and Instagram ads, how to post content, how to show up online, and basically how you can get yourself and your business out there to create the income that you want and to live the life of your dreams. We're super practical. We cut the fluff and we cut down to the real thing with strategies that have been proven over time. 20 years of experience between Nyaki and myself, the co-founders of Club She is, here to lead a community of women who are serving others. Our goal is to reach 1 million people by helping 1 million women, by helping 1,000 women have 1,000 clients. So if that is you, if you have a business idea or you already have your business up and running, if you want to be a coach, a speaker, if you want to start earning income on your terms, whether you have started or you haven't started at all, and all you have is an idea, Club She is the community where you need to be. So make sure that you click on the link down at the bottom and check out this community. Register absolutely for free to get part of the online community. Download the app and have it on your phone, but also make sure that you check out our premium membership where you can get weekly masterclasses, premium resources, and to meet with Nyaki and myself as we coach you through building that dream into a reality. But anyway, let me not waste any more time. Let's get back into this Lunch and Learn. Nyaki, I don't think people know that there's always one problem with every Lunch and Learn.
Not always.
There is. It's either you're not audible or like I'm on the wrong camera. Like I'm not a fan of this camera. And then I also went to get dressed in a polo neck, not knowing that my face would look very round today. It's just horrible. It's all horrible, Nyaki.
You seem to be complaining today. So I'll
How you doing? How's Joburg treating you today?
I can't say that it's cold, so it's fine.
Why are you not allowed to say it's cold? Is it because people are always saying South Africans, you're always, if it's too hot to complain, if it's too cold.
Yeah, that's like, and it's just a weird thing. Like every time it's like, oh, how's things there? No, it's cold. It's the weather.
Yeah. No, I know what you mean, but it's our nature, guys. It's our nature. Our nature is to say the obvious. Like that's literally what we do. We say the obvious and we make it into a big deal. Okay, Nyaki, have you ever thought of starting a journal business? I have.
No, I have a fundamental, as a left-handed person, we fundamentally struggle with journals. And so I have a left-handed friend so this book, like a book like this, as a left-handed person is not great unless you're able to get it to fall like exactly flat, right? And so usually the journals come with the spirals. It's just like, it's just difficult when you're left-handed to journal. And so I'm not one of those people that write a lot naturally. And then also like, it's not pleasurable for me to write. So two things, I've got very like inconsistent handwriting. It's not terrible. It's just, I write poorly.
You might as well go back to complaining about the weather, because I think today you are going to complain about something. And I think I just hit you in your studio today in terms of...
No. You asked me about the journal. I'm giving you the reason why I don't have a journal, why I've never thought about a journal business. And so that is the issue. That's the thing, is that as a left-handed person, using journals is generally not an enjoyable thing for me, I have found. And I have found other left-handed people who similarly have that experience. So no, I have not thought about, but I see it and I'm just like, oh, those are so cute. And I buy journals for other people because like, I love the thought, like I got a prayer journal the other day and it's so cool, but it's like writing is really difficult. So that,
You've got special problems. I'm so sorry, my friend. I'm sorry.
yeah,
Okay.
see, the problem is not with the journal, it's just with the
It's you.
it's all. This is why my husband will say that this is why the Catholic Church don't allow lefties.
I did not know that one.
What? You're not allowed to be left-handed as a black person, Kopano.
I've got
Like,
one cousin who's left-handed. You always sit on the same side of the table.
At church and at school, you used to get beaten if you were left-handed.
It's because
Come
you're
on,
an
you know.
inconvenience. You're an inconvenience. Now
No,
everything must
like
change.
people think like it's like demonic and stuff. They used to beat it. Like honestly, my grandfather used to have he was born left-handed, which is where it comes from me. But at school, bamushapa, like and hard, not just like your child now at your age, like your kids, none of your kids. As soon as they pick up a pen, if they pick it up with the wrong hand, guys, please don't tell me I'm not the only person who knows this.
No. You know, the thing is, unfortunately, it's still a stigma in schools because my daughter's actually left-handed, but she had to learn how to write with her right hand. And she already is now, she writes with her right now. Like, it's really difficult to take her back to her left. But, like, I get what you mean. So we have joining us on Facebook, we have the Dream Journal ZA, and perfect person to be with us. And she's like, hi, Bo, with the beating of the head. And then we have Tulu, who's also here. She says, it's okay, Nyaki. I'm also not a writing person, but I'm right-handed. But I love journals. Guys, I've got 6 journals at all times.
You do love journals. You have a lot of journals. You do.
I'm a journaler.
You have journals for everything.
I can't wait to die and my children find my journals. Like, it's like a weird thing. But it's just one of those things. Like, if I die and my kids find my journals, like, they're gonna find my business journals. There's one journal that I wrote in when I discovered membership businesses, and I wrote everything down, like, that I studied in that is a notebook. And then I think because of that, then I wanted a business journal, like a journal for people wanting to start a business. It was too hard, so it never launched. Like, it was just too much information. Like, it was a 90-day journal. I was just like, Lord, I can't do it. And then I landed on another journal, which did very well. It did so well, it drove me insane because I could not imagine. There's a picture I sent of the last orders that I sent, and we had 300 orders come in like a short space of time, and I hated my life. It was good, but I hated my life because now I'm just like 300 boxes, 300 journals, 300 labels, 300 addresses. And then people wanted multiple, but one person wanted them in 2 different directions. And I was just like, oh my gosh. Okay. But this is the thing. Inside of the club, we have a lot of people who want journal businesses. Like, I think we've seen so many people come through and say, and then I'm going to turn it into a journal. And then I think as soon as we say that, the journal's supposed to fix all the problems. Because it's a journal, the journal fixes all the problems. It makes sense. Just because you put the journal there, I'm a life coach with a journal. I'm a business person with a journal. It's a self-discovery journal. I mean, we have a client who is a therapist, and not a therapist, a psychologist, and she's got a journal. And it's like, we're just like, okay, just because it's a journal doesn't mean it's going to work out. Yes, journals are amazing. Yes, it's a huge business. But you've got to understand how journal businesses work, because then you go print 100 because you can't print less than 100, and then you're stuck with them. And we've heard those stories so many times as well. So we had to get an expert into the room. Our last conversation we had was about retail businesses. It was specific. It was beautiful. It was amazing. Go check that one out. Conversation before that was the gap between what you want and your action. Amazing conversation as well. Today, we're getting down and specific with a subject matter expert. She's done it for herself. She's done it for other people as well. She's a brand strategist. She is absolutely amazing. Loves the internet business like we love the internet business. Like, she's just like she's a girly. She's like within us. Like, we're just like, we understand each other. We got lost in the same funnels from other people. Like, we love it.
I actually have not, Like, I will tell you, there's one funnel that I should, like, on paper should have gotten into, and I didn't specifically.
Is it Amy?
Yes.
But it's because, if you get inside, you are inside.
Yeah, well, yes. Yeah. But I studied the funnel, I just never entered it.
Because she's
very good. Like we
She's
actually had
excited.
to do, we did like I did a submission, like a paper on it.
I can't
So
believe you studied it and stayed outside. You're so sly. You're so sly.
it is
So
very
sly. But coming in with the expertise of journaling and brand strategy and online business, a girlie who likes sales, like we like sales, who's not scared to talk about the money. Nthati! I love how you are like nodding because you are just like, yes, those are all the problems that people go through.
All the problems. I know every single one of them.
It's just, we hear it all the time. And we love journal businesses and we know that stationery businesses work, right? We need to define, like, okay, what is a journal business? What is a stationery business? What do you mean? Because I think there's so many aspects to it that people just don't understand. And I think if we have a clearer picture, we do so much better. And because journal businesses and journals are there to get a person from point to A to point B in a deep and meaningful way. It's just that the execution. Nthati, help us. Nthati, help us.
I am here to help. I mean, the execution is a lot, and we see it just like you guys see it. I see it as well, where people come and say, I want to journal, you know, and I have to. The first conversation I have is always a consultation, where we actually decide if you need a journal or not, because sometimes it's such a brutal industry that if you don't need it, you might not, you know, get the results that you're looking for. So yeah, I'm here.
It's so funny because I think I always go back and I tell the story so many times. If you watch enough Lunch and Learns, you'll be like, Kopano, find a new story. But I always say that one of our first meetings with Nyaki, she had a consultation, and the first thing she did was tell the person to go back to work. It's like, no, you don't need the business, which is interesting because you think that you want everybody to try it, everybody do it, everybody try it. But one of the first things that you do is like, do you really want it and do you really need it? So let's take a step back, Nthati. How did you even get into this? How did you land here? What happened and why did you land here?
How did I land here? So Boss Plus One started in 2018, late 2018, and I was always a stationary girl, very high achiever, productivity, and I had like journals and planners for everything. You know, I was a planner girl to the T, color coded, etc. And then I
I
found
like this.
like
Everything.
highlighter, like I was, you know, organized. And then I fell pregnant. That was not the hard part. The hard part was postpartum. And I remember like looking at my planners after having a baby, and I struggled so much because I felt like this doesn't support the life that I now am in, and I need to create something that does. So my friend actually came, she's a graphic designer, and she came to my house one day and she saw me stitch together my own planner, you know. So I had stitched it together with papers. I had taken an existing planner, I scratched out here, I put this on top. So I created my own thing. And she's like, girl, why don't you just make this? She was like, I don't understand why it's a DIY project, you know. So yeah, so I made the first one, and she helped me with the design. And you know, it was like I didn't mean to sell it, you know, and I put it up on social media, and it sold to like 24 people. And you know, having 24 people buy into a weird thing at the time, I was like, oh my gosh, that's amazing.
It's like, especially if you have no intention, it's like, even if one person buys it, you're like, you bought it? You gave
Exactly.
me your money?
Yeah. And so that 24, and then the next year I was like, oh, I'm going to do this again for the new year. I think that was 2019. I'm going to do this again for the new year. And then that I think was 110 people, you know. And obviously that at that point, I'm like, okay, I'm going to do this. And luckily, around that time, COVID was happening. So people were home and they wanted organizational systems. So we literally went from 110 the previous year to close to 3,000 the next year. So that was like a weird surge, you know, but I think it was pandemic driven. So that was really great. So yeah, that's how it started.
That is amazing. So I'll tell you that I'm gonna quickly I want to share how I'm gonna go to the Facebook page.
Yes.
And I was such a huge fan of Boss Plus One. Like I was such a big fan. I loved your business. I loved how it looked. It was always beautiful. Like for me, it was just like it was beautifully executed. And
Like,
I think when did I print my first journal? I think I also printed 2019. And I was just like, I know that the production of journals is not easy and it's so many costs. And you had every embellishment that you could have, and Tati had it. Every, you know, the thing is, guys, printing a journal is like buying a car, eh? That's
it's,
sex.
yep, that's
Everything adds up. So if you see like the gold on the side,
gold
and then you see like
corners.
everything, if you have a divider, I mean, every single Boss Plus One that you had was so beautiful, but it was also so intentional. And I think that's the thing with people who create journals. I mean, look at that. I mean, you had the foil. I mean, in fact, I looked at it, I was like, this lady. And I could tell that you learned a lot. You
Yes.
learned a lot. Going from 25 to, you know, having your 100 people to 3,000 people, there must have
Yeah.
been a learning curve for you. What was the things that you learned over time, over that 3 year space of time?
So I think around year 2 or 3, one thing that I did was I decided to position the company not as a journal or stationery company, but as a design company. So my background is in design, and at the time I was still working with my friend who is also a designer. And so when I got clear about what it is that I actually offer design services, and this is the portfolio of those services. So I think that, like you speak about the embellishments and all of that, that was because we wanted to amplify the actual service that we're providing. So Boss Plus One has stationery as an output, but we are a design company because I love pretty things, you know, so I love beautiful things. And so that shift, that shift was amazing. And then what ended up happening was the factory that I was printing at sort of saw so much potential in us, and they started to take us in as like their small baby. And I negotiated my way into that deal. Like even to this day, we still work with them, and we are their project basically. So that's how I'm able to scale. Unit costs go a little bit less, because they basically adopted us. But that was so purely from I could see that I'm not able to scale financially. I don't have the means to put down R1 million on the dot. I don't have those means. So I had to negotiate with them to cast that vision to say, listen, I want all the bells and whistles, because the prettier it looks, and the more beautiful it is, the sales go up. And so that was a very big shift for me to say, hey, this is a design company, number one, and so the designs have to be exceptional, and number two, we had to negotiate our way into the factory so that our unit prices go down. So they had to have a stake in it, and that's how we were able to scale a little bit more.
That's amazing. And that I think that's the big thing that we always ask people when they come and they say that I want to have a journal business. The question is what is at the heart of the business? What is the real business, right? That you are actually in. And I think you making that switch to say that, all right, I've been printing journals, right? But what is the main business? I think some people, how do they say it? Keep the main thing. And you decided that the main thing is not actually what I thought it was. It's actually something else. What gave you that idea to even say, let me expand my vision to something broader than just the actual physical journal itself?
So I think what gave the idea initially, we were going to do events and, position it as a lifestyle brand. But I felt too many people are doing that at the time. What is the one thing that I can do in my sleep? I can design in my sleep. That's the one thing. I know how to pick out beautiful things. I know which paper is amazing. I know how things look matters to some people. So that's the one thing I can offer that a lot of other people in this space don't have or can't offer, because I always tell people that some people will say form follows function, but I believe that people pick out what is the best to look at first, then they find out that it functions, So that's for me is I needed it to be functional, sure, but that was the second output. So that was the switch for me. It's just that how do I have something that no one else has? And the one thing I had was a design ability and the eye to design beautiful things. And I said, I'm going to bring that out first. Then we'll talk about other things afterwards.
Nthati, please tell these people that you're an engineer. Just please, fix your life. Can you just fix your life? Don't come here and tell us you're a designer. Okay, ma'am is an actual design
Nyaki had to come from the back of the stage all the way to the front and be like, wait,
please, because we're sitting here. No, we're sitting here thinking, yo, remember Nthati's good with Canva, guys. Please, Nthati, fix yourself. Please tell us, explain to the girls who you are.
No, I'm not good with Canva. So I'm an architect by profession. So that's why. I no longer practice. I'm not in practice.
Guys. No, sorry, I just needed to make sure.
Not just a degree, license, ma'am.
No,
Yes.
you guys. She's not here dreaming about design. She knows what she's talking about. Please come.
Yes, so when it comes
to
to
the
design,
front, okay? Focus. Come. Listen. We're listening now, okay?
No, you're true. I don't use Canva. I love Canva, but I don't use it for journals. I use like proper software for design, like Adobe.
Because you're a designer.
Yeah, because I'm a designer.
Focus. Okay, so, it's not a passion project.
Because you understand structural design, not
guys.
Images. No, but Nthati, this is a very important thing, man. This is a very important thing. So let's just say AI gets this conversation in the background. One of the things that we always look out for, and the reason why we work with women is we undersell ourselves. You 100% undersold yourself in this moment. 100%. Like 120,000%. Okay? But secondly, like that question that you asked is like, what am I good at? It seems so light. It's such a deep question because that's where the magic is. Like you've been able to say that what am I good at? And also, what did I go to school for? What's easy for me because kibadile? Like it's not a simple thing and it's a huge thing. And I think that's why Nyaki was just like, no, I'm coming to the front with this because this is where we all make the mistake. We undervalue that thing and your story makes sense without you saying that you're an engineer, but it opens up for so many other people when you say that. And you say that, okay, I'm an architect. And then I started a journal business. And I could see that from architecture and designing a journal, there were things that I had strong points and I used it there. It's like the pin is dropping for someone. Like it's literally dropping for someone.
Yeah, it is. And I think that is important. And that's why you have to go with your advantage always. Like I always believe, like, what is the one thing that no one can take away from you? Start there. And then everything else will fall into place. Because if I had tried to enter the journal space from a healing type of perspective, and I'm not that girl.
Because it makes money, so you think, you're just like, okay, if I do healing.
So I need to make money, and I need to, because I also understand how people or women make purchasing decisions. So the part of the reason why I bring up the design a lot is because women love what other women have, right? So that was one of the things I discovered. And a lot of times our buying decisions are ruled by envy. So if I look at a pretty journal from someone from Kopano, I'm like, I want that. Like, it's so beautiful. I'm envious. Let me purchase it. So I know it's not like the best psychology for sales, but like, it was just one of the
Yes,
things that, yeah, it was
it's
just one of,
huge.
yeah, it's one of the things where I was like, hey, I have to, those are the two factors. Women want what other women have, and women want, like they're driven by envy in sales, So that was a big thing for me, to say, you've got to make it pretty, and you've got to make other women want it because they saw it on another woman's hands. Yeah.
Amazing, amazing. That shift for you in knowing what the main thing is in your business. The main thing wasn't just the journal. The journal was actually just a conduit. It was the thing that was going to allow you to get to the main part of your business. So you sold 3,000 copies, but there was an actual back end of the business. How did that switch impact that back end of your business?
So the back end, like the shipping.
No,
Like,
so the journal being the thing that you said that the journal business was selling your services as for design, for printing other journals as a stationery business. How did that switch impact your greater business? Not just the physical books, but all the services that you were providing
okay.
after.
So that was great because it allowed me to focus on one medium to promote my design services. So a lot of my friends who are in architecture or who are designers, they have multiple, they're like multidisciplinary artists, right? So they'll do galleries and all of that. So I just said, I'm going to be the paper girl. And because of that, I was able to, people saw immediately what I was good at, and they were able to give me work based on that. So, we started doing corporate journals, corporate stationery. We started doing, where I work now at Wisdom and Wellness, that's how it started as well, and then people discover, oh, you can do more. Then we start doing curated events, but like design the event, not like decor the event, but like design the event, because people are like, we like your eye. And so that's been, so Boss Plus One still works in other spaces outside of paper because of the clear design language that people see. So from websites to brand kits to all of that. But the main thing is always just the design of things.
That is amazing. And the thing is, it's carrying through. Like that question is, what am I actually good at? You can see that that's the thing that allowed you to then have the other businesses, business avenues and revenue avenues come about. In your journey with your journal business and Boss Plus One, what was your biggest win? And what did you learn from that big win?
Ooh, I think, definitely the COVID boom was really great, right? I think the COVID boom was really great, and scale, like going from X to 10X was really nice. However, one of the biggest wins for me was the corporates coming in, right? The corporates coming and not having the struggle that other suppliers would have. So people would like, I didn't have to do the purchase order, the thing. I would send an invoice to a big corporate that only does purchase orders, and they will pay me because they like, we want this for Women's Day. We want this for Christmas, So that was really a big thing because I'm very poor in admin. Okay, so like the purchase order stuff, the tenders, oh my God. So just people wanting something so bad that they bypass systems. I was like, this is where I want to be at. Like, I don't want to apply to be on a panel. People are like, no. Usually this is what we do, but we don't have to do it with you because our MD loves the product so much, So that's been one of the highs, I guess, from a business standpoint.
Again, I always talk this story. But it's like, listen, at the end of the day, it's actually very hard to win on merit, unfortunately. A lot of people win on favor, and it's not to say, at the very least, you must deliver on the promise. And we always say that work on your brand, your business, work on the B2C that you can control, because the B2B is going to come. the
Yeah.
corporate's going to come, because also then you have strengthened your proposition, you have strengthened the product that you have, you've paid all the school fees, and you're not landing with a big contract. And it's admin heavy for a small business, guys. Becoming a
It,
supplier for corporate is so admin heavy.
it is. Yeah.
That's a big complaint that a lot of people have. Is it's like, oh, then I must apply, and apply, and apply, and I don't get it, and I've spent like hours applying.
I was applying. Yeah.
You know, and on the opposite end, what was an L that you took? You know, a hardship, something that was difficult, a loss that you faced in the business, and what did that teach you?
So I think, like I said, 2020, 2021 were exceptional because of COVID. And that is why I struggle to, there are people that I know who give business advice pre-COVID. And I feel like, man, like you had to experience COVID because that was a different type of skill set you gained. And then the third year after that, we ordered way too much because of the COVID results. Now people are back at the office. Now people are not, they're not trying to be productive at home anymore. And so obviously there was a decline in requests. So now you're sitting with stock. You have an office. At the time you had an office, a very nice office at 44 Stanley. It was like cool.
The dream. That dream.
It was a dream, but the volume just didn't match, and I had relied heavily on word of mouth. So there was no sponsored ads, there was no this, there was that. It was just people loved it so much they gifted it to other people, and it happened that those people were in the right rooms. So it was like CMOs of, we've done Discovery, Momentum, like Dark and Lovely and all that. So it was like, it landed in the hands of the right people. So I had never done any marketing. And so I kind of was like, oh, how do I sell the stock now? Like how do I, without the volume, So I think that was a big learning lesson. And you kind of have to stick around to say, okay, this year wasn't great. You were a pandemic success story, but how do you then now move past that pandemic?
I think that a lot of businesses, we've met with a lot of people who said that it was great. I boomed during the pandemic, and it's so funny that not but at the beginning of the pandemic, people were just like pivot. Pivot. How do you pivot? How do you pivot at the beginning? Because everybody's used to having their offline businesses, and they had to learn how to now go online. But that same pivot business was not happening at the end of the pandemic, because a lot of businesses boomed during the pandemic and they didn't know how to pivot post the pandemic.
100%.
And there's so many businesses and stories that we've come across with people who boomed during the pandemic and then it slowly died down post pandemic. And if they didn't learn how to do marketing and sales and all of those things, then they didn't know how to continue post it. And I think it's such an important conversation because it's all of us. Like Club Cheers went through it. Like everybody had this whole, what do we do post pandemic? But I think you have so many lessons from Boss Plus One and also working with other brands that have launched helping other brands also launch their journals. What would you say is everybody who works in any strategy or consulting has one thing that they repeat so many times, almost to every single person that they work with. What is a consideration, a question, or a lesson that you would say to someone who's thinking of starting a journal business? What would be the one thing you're like, listen, before you start, listen to this one thing?
Okay. So before you start your journal business, firstly, I need you to understand how expensive it is. It is extremely expensive. So this business typically works well if you have an existing mission, vision, brand, business. And
there we go. We're back. We're back. There, I always tell you the key moments, ne? The devil is minions. The devil's always trying us. I'm telling you, when we get to there, where the chains are about to break, there's always a little bit of something. So we're just gonna give Nthati a second just to get her network back online. But I just want to check in with everybody who is joining us on YouTube as well as Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram. The conversation is going on Instagram. And Kakamba, who is here, is back with us today as well. Thank you for joining. Coach Malebo is also here. Lelo, Batu, thank you so much for joining us. So the conversation that we're having right now is with Nthati to talk about the journal business. We've been in the journal business before, and the journal business is amazing, but it is one that has a lot of lessons that you might need to learn to figure out how best do you run your journal business. So Nthati is about to tell us the one lesson. If there was one thing that you could tell someone who is thinking about going into a journal business, you could only say one thing from the brands that you have helped build your own brand as well in the journal business. What would that one thing?
Okay, I'm back now. Sorry about that. I would say you need to cut off the emotional connection. And I think that a lot of people that enter the journal business are very emotional about this. This is my baby, this is my brand, this is my work, my heart, my mission. And I think that's all great, but we need to look at the rands and cents, and to look at would you care about it if it made no money? And if the answer is no, then get to the money making part of the journal business, which is very important. Yes, that's what I would say.
That is a very huge business. I think I think every journal, like we said, is always coming from like a struggle, and we always see a journal as a transformational tool.
Yeah.
And if you care about that transformation, then that journal, you will keep pushing it because you understand that that transformation is something that can happen, but you need to get to the numbers of the business. At the end of the day, it is a pricey business. It's a pricey business to learn from, and it's a pricey business to run, and it requires a pound of flesh. The contract for a journal business is, do you agree to give me a pound of flesh? And you have to decide. Yeah, I think I've got some extra thighs to give, and you give your pound of flesh to the journal business. But Nthati, I really appreciate the conversation that you had with us. And you work at with Bumi at Wisdom and Wellness, an amazing journal, which is the Speak Live September journal as well. What would you say has that journal, that part of that business, taught you about the journal business that you have seen? I think also, for example, you said that I would not do a healing journal because it's not my avenue, it's not my passion, right? I thought I was supposed to do a business journal. I ended up doing a prayer journal, which did very well, and I never thought me being a prayer journal person, I was like, Lord, you've got the wrong one. You've got the wrong one. But clearly the Lord had other plans. You working on a journal that you feel like, okay, this is not one that I would personally make, but you saw something amazing in that journal. What is something that you have learned and taken from that business?
So I completely, and I think your example of a journal, and obviously the Wisdom and Wellness journals, Speak Life journals, are all mission led, and that is an important part of the sales as well. Like, it has to be tied to a vision, a mission, an existing mission that has momentum, and so that gives it runway, to be able to soar. So a lot of times I do have quite, like over 10 people that I'll design for in a year. And a lot of times I'll be honest to be like, we don't have a community for this to exist. We don't have the runway for this. You don't have the vision for this to exist. So if you're going to sell it as my story, no one is telling your story with you. So you're not going to make money from this. I'm very honest. And so you need a vision, you need a mission, you need momentum, and you need runway. So if you're already working on a business, Club She Is, we're working on the business, then it makes sense, right? It makes sense because there's a track record of momentum. But if you don't have it, it becomes difficult. So I always tell people, hey, if you don't have that, don't do it, because it's very expensive to do it. But if you do it, like I did it raw, I didn't have, my mission was just to get out of postpartum depression, but I didn't have a big audience. I didn't have all of that. And that's why I switched and I said, okay, then it has to look really beautiful, because that's the only thing I can offer right now, right? Is I have to make it pop so that the right people wanted it on their desk. And so you really have to the selling transformations is difficult if you don't have it tested yet on other mediums. So if you haven't tested it on YouTube, you haven't tested it on a podcast, you haven't tested it on, with an audience, you're going to have a hard time selling a journal.
Amazing. That's such an important point. If you're not willing to put in that effort to actually build and maintain that community, to test out that transformation, then have a think about it. Have a think
Yes.
about it. I keep hearing from you over and over again. I think that's the thing that I always loved about Boss Plus One is like the clear value proposition. I was just like, I love this journal because not only is it beautiful, not only is it well made, but there's a clear value proposition. I think that's me in my little corner. I was like, what's my value proposition? Jesus. Is it Jesus?
It is. Yeah, it is.
And I think it's so important for you to know that. It's like, what is the transformation? What is the thing that you are selling? Like, the journal itself is helping a person achieve something. What is the something? And I think I admire you for, I think everything you put your hands on has got a mark of excellence. It's well engineered, ma'am. It's well engineered. Like, you can see, like, it really is. Look at Nyaki in the background. She's just like, duh. She's an architect. She's an engineer. Nyaki is like pro engineers. Like, as soon as anybody's an engineer, they're not leaving without somebody saying that, Imina, I'm an engineer.
Yeah. Oh, man.
But thank you so much for agreeing to have this conversation with us. I think it's a dream for someone to even sell 100 journals. Like, that first batch that they order, that those boxes that they have, like, for them, it's a dream just to say these 4 boxes or this one big box of 100. I just want to sell these and finish these. Listening to this, I think from the top of my head, it's like, what is that one thing that you actually are good at, and can that thing come out through what you are producing? This goes across every single business. And what is the main thing? Because the journal is not the main thing, but what is the main thing, right? Figure out what is the main thing, because the journal is just helping achieve the main thing. What is the main thing, right? And then what you're thinking about, the numbers. It is an expensive business. Understand all your numbers of your journal business, from the printing to the delivery to the selling. Do you have a community? Like, how are you going to achieve the numbers? How are you going to make the numbers make sense for you? Because beyond the purpose, beyond the mission, beyond the community that you have, the numbers actually have to make sense.
True.
My favorite thing that you said, it has to have runway. Does it have a community? Has it been tested out? Is it mission based? Does it have a strong proposition? Every business needs runway. I love that. I absolutely love it. Thank you so much. Nyaki, what did you take from this? I'm just happy. I'm happy.
I think I actually like what lands is that, and we've said this before, right? Is that a journal it's a nurturing tool within your business pipeline. It's not a piece of stationery, and we sell it as a piece of stationery. And this is what Nthati is talking about when she talks about something that must be mission led and have a community, right? A journal is effectively a whole bunch of pieces of paper. That's all it is, right? You're selling paper. But what Nthati is talking about is that when you open that paper, there is direction in that journal, right? There are prompts that you must follow. There is a rhythm. There is a routine basically the routine for the transformation. And that's effectively what Nthati is talking about when she talks about mission led, right? It must have, like, what does it do? Like, what's the magic inside? Because it's not the paper. It must look beautiful. You know, as women, and what Nthati's talking about is like we generally do love beautiful things, and that's obviously like a good selling point. But like beyond the beauty, for someone to find it valuable, it's not stationery, it's mission led. And I love that Nthati does those consultations before, because like you do at some point, you know, sometimes you just got to tell someone, Stas, it's not going to work. This is not, nobody wants a journal. Nobody wants this. Right. And unless you say like, no, actually, I've actually got a Facebook group of 600 people that do want it. Then you're like, wait, okay, all right. I didn't know. Yep. I respect you. But like I think that's possibly like the consultative process that I think is also a valuable part of this conversation. But yeah, very good. Very well done.
I love it.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for giving us your time in your afternoon, Nthati. We absolutely love it. For everybody who's watching, leave a comment. Let us know your thoughts. Let us know about your journal idea and your business, your community, what it is that you do. And always drop us your questions and your suggestions of who you want us to have next on Lunch and Learn. But from us, that is it. Goodbye.
Bye. Thanks, guys.